Green to Stay Eco here, Bounty News, the news with a tinge of mutiny, update number 10, episode 10. And we're lucky enough again, he's a hard man to get, but when we get him, he's always on point with the most controversial issues of our day regarding Australia's future, where we want to go. And we want to welcome back to the outdoor studio, the Dean Pro Quo.
Ladies and gentlemen, here I am once again, and we're talking about alliances with America.
Yes. Now, it's funny. I personally, because of my father's career in the film industry, I've always felt a special attachment to the United States. And the fact that my father fought New Guinea alongside America, so I always felt that culturally we've always had this strong alliance. But what we're talking about tonight is particularly in the recent times regarding the energy industry and the way that oil is manoeuvred and used as a leverage. What do you think, Dean? You want to come in on that?
I think it's important to start the conversation about why we give such, who put America in the place that they're in? Why we give such allegiance to them? Why have they become the leaders of the free world? And it seems like there's a lot of links that points their finger at them. I'm not pointing the finger at them at all. I'm not saying that they are to blame for everything. But, what gives them the opportunity to create such delusion in life that we can't even speak about it?
Yes. Yeah, and particularly here in Australia, because we've played sort of a balancing act between the old empire, the British Empire, and the new empire, the new so-called empire, the United States. And now we're stuck in this situation here in Australia where there's emerging economic superpower China, well, even India, and with what's happening in the Ukraine. So where do we come into this? Are we going to... I'm not sure if I'm happy with this continued arrangement where war and fossil fuels is the dominant topic of narrative, and everything must be defended in America's interest around military and fossil fuels. Why can't we mature the narrative, the conversation? Why can't we get away from this? If you look at the mainstream media, they're always hammering the Cold War. We grew up with that in the 80s, and it was just a complete waste of time, waste of money, waste of life. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, not only the 80s, 90s, 2000, there's been so many wars, and when you look at how they've all been orchestrated, you kind of see there's a link going back to one source, and that source, when you look at it, where the source comes from, it seems to come from one particular area, one particular region of the world, in a very small place in what's called America, right? I mean, who has given them the balance of power? Like, why are we bowing down to these people? Well, it's just a question I want people to think about, and, let's discuss it. Let's get the discussion happening, because why is this discussion important to me is because my father and his grandfather and so on, and whose grandfather in this country hasn't fought a war. And why did we come here in the first place? Even if we are indigenous here, we are Australasia Oceania, aren't we? Are we not? Geographically we are. And a lot of the people are intertwined Oceania geographically. I know I've got cousins from the Polynesian islands and around the surrounding islands in New Zealand,